Communication and knowledge are key for organization effectiveness. Library boards and libraries form a type of organization. A well-informed, proficiently communicative board can get work done, can effectively engage with stakeholders, and efficiently execute their responsibilities. Unfortunately, uninformed board members and meetings in which communication is impeded have the opposite effect and can contribute to creating high levels of stress and anxiety among board members and staff, which can lead to a high rate of board member or library director turnover. These issues can negatively impact the image of the library and adversely affect services to patrons. I'm Gail Hedstrom, and I will be sharing with you a research proposal that will measure current levels of library board members' knowledge of their roles and responsibilities, and will examine how specific organization and communication theories may contribute to increased board member knowledge acquisition and allocation, and how this shared knowledge can perhaps strengthen board effectiveness and better serve the mission of public libraries. The more you know, the more empowered you are. Untrained board members may feel uncertain about what is expected of them. Information acquisition may reduce feelings of having an ambiguous leadership role for the community. Library board members have serious responsibilities, including decision-making, policy development, the need to build relationships with others, and the ability to communicate as an organization. Board members need to acquire knowledge before they can make decisions and disseminate information. Previous research has noted that organizational communication has demonstrated to be a crucial aspect in the success rate of any type of organization, whether that be for profit, nonprofit, business, or academic based. We know that communication matters to organizations. The American Library Association and many states have training materials available for board members, but their use is not always implemented. A study conducted to assist the Indiana Library Federation in developing and providing opportunities for trustee training found that most trustees, a word that I will use interchangeably with board members, were interested in receiving training. There are communication theories and practices that may serve as tools in helping to provide information about roles and responsibilities, and that may help board members to intuitively share information and collaboratively grow their collective wealth of knowledge. Communication truly can hold the key to information acquisition and allocation. Board member roles can be complicated because they're charged with both representing the library to the community and the community to the library. It requires that board members act as ambassadors and advocates. Communication theories can provide means for library boards to actively learn to listen to the voices of their stakeholders and constituencies. And it can also allow the organization to develop skills to learn to communicate collectively. Based on what existing research has discovered, there are still important questions to investigate, such as how do library board members' perceptions of their roles and responsibilities compare with actual roles and responsibilities? Do trustees have the correct understanding of what they should be doing? Measuring what library board members think their roles are and comparing the results to how their roles and responsibilities are officially defined can help identify discrepancies. Do library board members demonstrate authentic dialogue during meetings? Are members actively listening? Is there mutuality, equality? Do they show respect for others? Is there a desire for understanding? This authentic communication is not just between board members, although that is important. It's also between the board and the director, the board and stakeholders such as funding bodies, as well as the public that they represent. This authenticity includes how they present the library as an organization. Does communication contribute to organization identity? There are communication and organization models that have demonstrated being helpful in creating identity, and that can help promote the formation of collective messaging. This may include how the board communicates to stakeholders and the public, and how they can respond to controversial issues that may arise. Can communication during board meetings contribute to library board members achieving an understanding of their roles and responsibilities? What kind of communication is present during board meetings that may allow for knowledge acquisition or prohibit it? We know that there is still work to be done. Library board members have important and complex responsibilities, and yet often are deficient in having the information to carry out these roles. It has been noted that communication scholarship is absent from nonprofit research. This should change because communication can greatly benefit a nonprofit's understanding of its organization's functions and improve its overall performance. Board meetings may actually be able to serve as a vehicle for increasing knowledge. This is significant because while people want training, they do not necessarily have the time or desire to attend additional meetings or training sessions. If information is embedded during regular board meetings, it is more efficient to deliver, and its authenticity may result in enhanced meaning and longevity of information retention. Theories examined include dialogic communication, which can include attributes such as recognizing the need to work together, being inclusive, honoring equality, and being committed to the conversation, as well as respecting others' perspectives. Organizational storytelling. This can allow members to collectively make sense of the organization through the retelling of previous achievements, challenges, and discussions. Rituals. Rituals can help display agency by making present a unified sense of the organization. For example, if at every board meeting the library's mission statement was to be read aloud or 5 minutes was dedicated to reading policies, this becomes a ritual, and these rituals may contribute to creating board identity. Networks effect, which can facilitate trust and trustworthiness. The idea here being that as people share information, trust is generated, and that trust motivates additional people to share additional information. It is possible that the more information that board members possess, the more confident they will become in allocating information. These four theories are very interconnected. This research project will employ a mixed methods approach using an explanatory sequential design. The qualitative data will allow for an increased understanding of the quantitative findings. This allows for triangulation because data is being gathered and analyzed in multiple ways. The quantitative data can serve as a reliable measure in determining current perceived levels of knowledge versus actual knowledge of a specific library board roles. The quantitative information will allow for a test of convergent validity to determine if library board members' survey responses are supported or contradicted by data gathered at board meetings and from textual analysis of meeting minutes. The proposed research is Minnesota-centric. It has multi-steps and utilizes two sampling designs. A census sample will provide an opportunity for every public library director in Minnesota. Note this does not include branch managers or branch directors. An equal opportunity to respond to a brief self-administered online survey. The next step of the process will rely on a purposive sampling design consisting of the boards of 4 public libraries. A convenient sample specific to how content for analysis can be obtained will also be included. To clarify, public libraries via the initial survey can indicate an interest to participate in further research and perhaps be randomly selected. However, libraries that have been previously identified as having board meetings and recorded meetings available online will be purposefully contacted to request participation due to the convenience of accessing the content. Of the 4 public library boards to be included in the research, an effort will be made to include 2 libraries from consolidated systems and 2 from federated systems, each serving a different population size, ranging from small rural to urban. By state statute, library boards in Minnesota are comprised of 5, 7, or 9 members. This indicates that the maximum number of participants should not exceed 36 people. The sample will also include 6 months of library board meeting minutes and recorded video of meetings. Observation of current meetings will take place over a 6-month period. The initial random sample of all Minnesota public libraries will provide an overview of the status of library board training and indicate an interest in further participation. The purpose of convenience sample allows for in-depth collection of content for analysis in relation to the original research questions. Quantitative data will be gathered using self-administered surveys. Content analysis of public documents and video recorded public meetings will provide qualitative data, as will participant observation of live meetings. The content analysis will code for the presence of authentic dialogue, member engagement, listening, rituals, storytelling, networks effect, organization as communication, as well as nonverbal communication. Intercoder reliability will be used to strengthen coding accuracy. It is imperative to get approval from the Institutional Review Board because part of the sample population includes people. It should be noted that no one under 18 years old will be included in the research. Introductory letters will be sent to all potential participants and signed consent forms will be required to participate. Letters explaining the research will be sent to the Minnesota State Librarian and the 12 regional library directors. This step will provide information, allow for transparency, and possibly avoid misunderstandings and confusion should questions arise. The library community in Minnesota is highly connected and communicative. It is possible that a director receiving a survey could mention it or ask a question about it to a system director, or even to the state librarian. This advance notice is proactive and a courtesy. Despite the fact that library board meetings are open to the public, permission will be sought before participatory observation occurs. And while content analysis of board meeting minutes and recorded meetings found online is truly unobtrusive and of public record, permission will be sought to use the documents for research purposes. Synonyms will be used when referring to the study population of people in libraries, and any identifying elements will be removed from documents. Even survey questions were designed to try to avoid identifying a location. Completed surveys and notes will be stored in a locked file, and computer documents will be password protected. The research project is limited by its focus on a small purposive population sample, which is subject to the judgment of the researcher. The small sample may result in findings that are only applicable to the study group and not generalizable or transferable to a larger population. The internal reliability may be questionable because it is difficult to demonstrate that low role knowledge is due to the lack of communication tenets being coded for. Content and conversation analysis are, of course, subject to researcher or coder interpretation and biases, which of course can then result in low inter-rater reliability. Whenever interpretation of other people's communication takes place, there is room for error. Textual analysis may be limited due to the possible brevity of minute meetings, providing little text to analyze. And perhaps what is being coded for is too subjective, making accurate or meaningful coding impossible. It is not known if the findings will be reproducible. A quasi-experiment could strengthen this research by providing predictive validity and demonstrating causation. For instance, board members could be given a pre-test regarding roles and responsibilities and then intentionally have their instances of organization, ritual, and communication theories infused into their meetings with researcher guidance. After 6 months of this new practice, a post-test could be given to measure change, and change not in just knowledge of roles and responsibilities, but also in board meeting communication. The role of library boards is significant. In many circumstances, they are responsible for hiring directors and have the power to fire them. Often it is their responsibility to prepare operating budgets, and they may have the authority to set policies, which can be directed by state statutes or local ordinances. Boards also need to be able to respond as an organization to serious issues regarding things such as privacy and censorship, and sometimes these serious issues garner interest from the press. Library boards are important and powerful organizations, and they deserve to have adequate information to accurately carry out their role. There's another consideration. By not providing orientation, the role is devalued. If it is believed that anyone with no orientation or training can serve on a library governing board, what does it say about the institution? Does it diminish its integrity? Does it minimize its importance? Board members require information to execute their role and effectively represent the public library. Consider that every person who has ever served on a library board has the possibility of becoming a lifelong advocate and ambassador for the library. For that to happen, it is imperative that board members have accurate information and communication skills to deliver the message. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this presentation. I look forward to your feedback and questions. Thank you.